Since most courses in Phoenix have been closed for overseeding and I can't seem to get a tee time anywhere, I figured it'd be a good time to do my golf budget and planning for next season. Oh yeah, I practice responsible golfing. And this got me thinking, how much does it cost to be a competitive golfer? Today's video, I'm gonna add up all of my golf expenses and look at what it costs to get me this far in my golf journey. This should be fun. Let's do it right meow.
Ryan Little.
Thank you for tuning in to my YouTube channel. My name is Kenny. Some of you may know me as Kennie Kat. I am a competitive golfer, and this channel is dedicated to my journey on what it takes to become a better competitive golfer. Let's jump straight into it. So, what does it cost to become a good golfer? And in this case, I'm just going to define a good golfer as someone who consistently shoots in the 80s, which I happen to be. Some expenses are definitely not required, and some expenses are things that you could probably avoid. I'm going to talk about my own personal experiences, and keep in mind that as a competitive golfer, I'm doing something golf-related 5 to 7 times a week, roughly 40 to 45 weeks out of the year. I normally have somewhere about 2 months or so of off time or vacation time. So what my needs are going to be a lot different than your average weekend golfer. We're just going to jump straight into equipment, and I've got my list here just off screen, so don't mind me if I keep taking a look at it. I want to make sure that I am as factual as possible. My putter is a Scotty Cameron Futura 5W. That was $349. I did purchase that at retail. My wedges were roughly $99 a piece. I did get them on sale, so that's a total of $300 just for the wedges in my bag. My irons, which are the Mizuno JPX Forge 900, I got those on sale. They were $100 per iron, and I have pitching wedge through 4 irons, so that's 7 irons. Those cost me $700. My hybrid, which is a Cobra F7, was $200. I had to purchase that one roughly around full retail as well. I was able to purchase my 3-wood, which is a Cobra F7 3-wood, for around $200. And my driver I got secondhand from Callaway Golf for $249. The only clubs in my bag that I was ever fit for were my irons, my wedges, and my hybrid, and my putter. Altogether, that fitting from Club Champions some time ago cost me $300. And my bag is a Mizuno bag. It's $150. I do have a really good quality Nikon Cool Shot rangefinder that I purchased for full retail at $499. So that brings everything in my bag, including the bag itself and all of the equipment, to a base total of $2,950. And I would say for a serious competitive golfer, this is probably pretty typical on the low end. I know that, when you get into custom shafts and all of that, you can easily have $5,000 of equipment in the bag. Next, let's talk about golf clothes. Now, this is highly subjective. I happen to wear a lot of Nike. I do purchase some of it full price. I do purchase some of it at discount Nike stores, but I just think for the overall of this, I'm just gonna kind of generalize. Because of the amount that I golf, I do need more golf apparel than the average person because I do go through it a lot, and I am also wearing something golf, 5, 6, 7 times a week. At minimum, I need 2 pairs of shoes, which roughly should cost about $200 or $100 per shoe. And I would say that polos, pants, shorts, and hats, roughly 4 to 5 of each of those so that you can cycle through them and clean them every single week. Obviously, I have more because, again, I'm wearing something new every single day. I would roughly put that around $500 to, let's just call it $600 of pants, hats, polos, and shorts. Now, living in Arizona, it is very hot. Obviously, if you live in cold weather climates or areas, you're gonna need specific cold weather and warm weather gear. I consider this to be sun sleeves, sun hats. I roughly equate that to be around $300. So I would say all in all, as a conservative estimate, about $1,000 for just golf-specific gear. And I think that's really being generous since I've got Jordan golf shoes that cost a third of that. Now, let's talk about balls and gloves. This is something that if you're not sponsored and you don't get free balls and free gloves, for a competitive golfer, this adds up. Now, I go through roughly 10 to 12 dozen balls a year, And currently I play the Pro V1, and I usually buy them at the end of the year when Titleist has their December sale. So golf balls roughly cost me $480 a year. I'm playing somewhere around 4 rounds in a low week, sometimes more. So I go through gloves pretty quickly, and I try to rotate them as quickly as possible. And I really hate having slippery golf gloves. I go through about 2 gloves a month at the low end, probably closer to 3. I normally try to buy these in bulk because I find them on eBay, or I find them at wholesale deals. I play the Titleist Permasoft, and I can normally get those for around $15 to $17 a glove. I spend roughly $360 a year on gloves. Altogether, that's a total of $800 that I spend on golf balls and gloves each year. The next thing I want to take a look at is my practice equipment. Now, this is obviously subjective. I'm just going to talk about the main practice equipment that I use day to day in my own game, not necessarily what I buy to review for the YouTube channel. So my main practice equipment are my Super Speed training sticks. I have my Gravity Fit Pro, and I've also got a few putting gates. I would roughly estimate that those are around $500. I do use Arcos Golf, which is $249 a year. That's my stat tracking app and sensors. I also have a shag bag and a short game collection bag I use when I'm out on the short game area to pick up balls. And if you're practicing your short game as much as I am, picking up 20 to 30 balls 6-7 times when you're out there for an hour and a half is very tedious. Having a shag bag and a collection bag is absolutely a must. That's roughly $150. I do have a launch monitor, which is something that I think is important for a serious golfer or my game to be able to have and collect some data, but I don't have a relatively expensive one. The one I have right now is the PGR launch monitor. It's $199. And then my push cart. Obviously, I'm playing a lot of golf, so it's a lot cheaper to just push instead of paying an $18 or $25 cart fee at my club. So my push cart I got on Amazon for $100. Altogether, my practice equipment and training equipment is roughly $1,200. Next, we're gonna talk about coaching. So I work with Big Kurt, and I see him roughly 2 times per month. Sometimes a little bit more, sometimes a little bit less, but throughout the year, it's gonna average to be about 2 times per month. And fortunately, he's moved to a facility where his hourly rate has went from $125 to $80 an hour, and that's actually saved me a lot of money. And I see him roughly 24 times a year. That's going to be around $1,500 each year for coaching. I also have access to his digital coaching services where I can send him swings and weekly updates, and I do use that very frequently. That's $57 a month, and that comes out to be $680 a year. My total for all of my coaching throughout the year is roughly $2,184. And then last but not least, we're gonna take a look at the actual golf facilities, my memberships to country clubs, etc. I'm actually not a member of a country club yet. I am a member to certain clubs in the Phoenix area. There's a lot of really cool memberships you can have. As a competitive golfer, I need the ability to be able to access a decent level short game facility and a quality putting green pretty much 4 to 5 days a week. So I pay $60 a month right now to have access to a membership out here called Arcos Golf, and that basically gives you discounted rates and free range balls and access to practice facilities at 5 or 6 different clubs out here in the greater Phoenix area. But right now I'm playing an average of 4 rounds a week, roughly 40 weeks out of the year. So 75 to 80% of the year, I'm averaging about 4 rounds a week. And this is just my playing golf. And I would say that with my memberships and access to clubs, my average round rate, roughly $40. With 160 golf starts each year, I'm spending roughly $6,400 a year on just greens fees. I entered 10 tournaments this year, but that was a half season. A full season would be closer to 20 tournaments. But the 10 tournaments that I did play averaged out to be $200 per tournament. That's roughly $2,000 this year in just tournaments. So if we factor in the equipment and then obviously the golf, that brings me to a grand total of $17,254 that I've spent. Good Lord, that's a lot of money. Obviously, the bulk majority of that is just greens fees, of which I spend roughly $12,104 each year on just green fees and tournament entry costs. Now, I think there are a lot of things in this list that most people probably would be like, oh, I wouldn't spend that kind of money on it. But when it all comes down to it, the reason I focus a lot on my game and investment is because the time aspect. You have to spend so much time actually practicing your craft and being a student of the game that spending money on quality facilities and a quality coach to me feels like a worthwhile investment because it decreases the amount of time that I have to spend, wondering how to improve my game. I think that if you're serious about getting better at golf, dedicating yourself a budget for investing in you and your golf game is definitely a route you need to go, because it's not just going to take time, it's going to take a decent amount of financial investment to get better at the game of golf. Let me know in the comment sections below. Are you a member of a club? How many rounds a year do you play? Is this number something that shocks you? Is this amount that you think is like lower than what you spend on golf? I'm curious to hear what some of you down that lens are spending for your yearly golf expenses. But one thing I gotta tell you is, looking at that list, man, do I need to get somebody to sponsor me for some balls and gloves. Titleist, if you're watching, holla at your boy. That was a really fun exercise, and I'm super excited to plan my golf budget for the next season and look at some new cool toys I get to buy. As always, thank you very much for watching my YouTube channel. Deuces, people. Let's keep it moving.